and I didn't expect this. I just kind of threw it out there because sometimes I'll screen cap comments that I get that I think are discussion worthy. You know, I don't mean to like call out whoever leaves the comment. I don't mean it in a mean way. I just like getting discussions going. Last time I checked, and I checked yesterday, I think the Instagram comment section had something like 130 comments. That word gets people heated on both sides. So we're gonna dive into that. I definitely have some thoughts. I did some homework. I got some notes. I said it in my spoiler review. Yeah, I definitely got some thoughts. Okay, and some of those thoughts might surprise you. You know, some of you think that it's just a two-sided ordeal. For me, it's not a two-sided ordeal. Okay, but we'll get into that. All right, so let's do it. Let's jump in. I even have where's it? My topical slides. Here we go. Evil Dead. Is it woke? Let's start off with that. Just let me know. Type woke or no woke. All right. If you think it's woke, type woke. If you don't, type no woke. Now, this is going to be a discussion about, I guess, wokeness in general. I'm not just referring to Evil Dead Rise, but I'll open it with stating that I don't think Evil Dead Rise is woke whatsoever. Okay. And I think you'll understand that reasoning when I go through these 5 talking points. All right. And maybe I'll mention Evil Dead Rise with each talking point just to try to keep it in order. Okay. And also, I'm not here to say you're wrong and I'm right. All right. I'm not here to, there's people that are very passionate about this whole woke thing and the way Hollywood is today. And I'm not here to tell them they're wrong. All right. Everybody's got their opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. I'm just giving you my opinion. All right. I'm just giving you my opinion. And I think part of it comes from, like, I have this saying. I am too busy to be offended. All right. I'm too busy and I really just don't have time to be offended. And maybe that's helped me because I don't look to be offended by anything. I'm just that type of person. So I guess know that going in. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I should be offended, but I'm not. I'm just not. Okay. I'll even say this. We never had this discussion, not too long ago. This is only like, I'd say, where did it start, guys? Did it start with Star Wars? I think that's where it started. I think it started with Last Jedi was, I think, am I wrong, guys? Was it Last Jedi that really started this movement? That's what I would call it, maybe a movement. But before either Last Jedi or somewhere, before all that, people never really talked about this that much. They just either liked the movie or they didn't like the movie. You know, I'm not here to say that every movie that is considered woke by, you know, a certain crowd, I'm here to say that they're wrong and that movie's great. Okay, don't confuse what I'm stating here. I'll even say this. A lot of movies that I don't think are woke, they're shit. They are shit. I'll start off with an example, okay? I don't use woke as a part of my vocabulary for determining if a movie's good or not. I don't. I just go by other things. But like I can say like Captain Marvel, all right? Whether Captain Marvel is what you would call woke or not, maybe it is. Okay, maybe it is. I don't know, but I don't like the movie, and that's because the way the character is drawn out. All right? I think the character is just very boring and bland, and she doesn't really seem to have a big journey to, I guess, to get her where she is. You know, there doesn't feel like a big character arc there. And there's so many female heroines that have a great arc. All right. So there's an example. I'm not like on one side of the argument. I'm somewhere in the middle sometimes. Okay. I can tell you right now though, Evil Dead Rise, not woke at all. All right. So, let me get Erica's super chat here. Hold on. says, Lee, I'm not offended. Also, Lee, get that shirt out of my comment section. Oh, get that shit out of my comment section. Yeah. Yeah, she's referring to one of my comments, and he said that it was watered down, and he said it was woke. And I said, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm paraphrasing my own self, and I said, get that woke shit out of my comment section. Because I don't like my comment section to be filled up with, is it woke or not? I hate that. I appreciate the comments, of course, but it does irk me. And maybe I get a little bit too angry about this stuff, and maybe I should ease. And I was actually thinking that today. I was a little perturbed today. I was a little apprehensive to even do this stream because I started questioning myself, like, am I really taking this shit a little bit too seriously? Maybe I am. Maybe I shouldn't let stuff like this bother me so much. You know, I mean, who cares what my opinion is anyway? But on the flip side of it, I think their opinion's important, and I think my opinion's important. They meaning those who stand on the woke side of the argument, and they think so much content is woke when a good bit of it's not. You know, my opinion. Some people, they just, and I don't know if they want to be offended or what it is. Okay, so anyway, yeah. First talking point. Diversity. I figured I'd start you off with a bang. That word gets people up in an uproar. All right? Diversity. It seems like people get really bent out of shape if there is diversity in a movie these days. I'm not saying that they want every character to be a certain color, but I will admit that we are seeing more diversity in television and movies these days. And let me give you my stance on diversity. I think it's great, and I think it's about time. I really do. When I think about, you know, for example, starving actors in Hollywood, you know, because the acting world in Hollywood, it's a very small pool of successful ones that can make a great living off of this. But you want to go even farther down. You look at like Asian actors, you look at black actors, you look at Indian actors. You seek out one of those that they can't get work and ask them how hard it is. And I guarantee you it's probably a lot harder than a white actor. Okay? That's me just guessing. I don't have numbers in front of me, but I will say it's tough out there to be an actor if you are not white. You know, when I say the word white, some people are going to get offended. I'm white, all right? I'm happy to be white. I'm not anti-white at all. You know, it served me pretty well. I'm fine with being white, but I think, you know, everybody has an opportunity in this life and you can go get it. For some, it might be harder than others. I don't know. But I'm happy that we are seeing more diversity in movies. You know, to me, it comes down to, and this is where we'll jump to my second point, is writing the real problem here. Because I will admit to some of those that are more on the woke side of things, a lot of the content that they have a problem with is bad. It is bad. But if I step outside of myself and I go look at that content that they don't like, I ask myself, why do I not like this content? It's the writing. I don't really care what color the people are in the movie. It doesn't bother me if I see, like, say, a couple, you know, a mixed race couple, a black person and a white person being married together. That's fine. I've seen tons of it, and it's great. It all comes down to the performances and the writing. If the writing's bad, if you have shit writers, every one of them could be a single color, and it's still going to suck. That's just a fact. It's going to suck. Also, the talent. Would I rather have, let's say, like an Asian actor? Would I rather that an Asian actor that is phenomenal, like up there with like Meryl Streep level, or would I rather have a white actor that is subpar? You know, and I know that sounds like a loaded question, an easy question, but that's how I feel. I don't care what color you are. I just want the performance to be good. That's all I want. I want there to be good writing, and I want there to be good acting. If I get those two things, I'm there, I think, you know? Now, this is where I jump to the next point. Okay? Exceptions. Let's be fair. If this is a location-based type deal, like if we're in, say, the Middle East, and the characters need to be all Middle Eastern, you know? If you're casting an actor that's not Middle Eastern and the role calls for a Middle Eastern actor, and you can have some debate on this because, yeah, I know that we have actors that might look the part, and I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. You know, suspension of disbelief, you can go a long way with me. But if you do have somebody that's like so far out of and it takes you out of the movie, the role, then it could be a bad thing. I'm going to be honest. It could be a bad thing. Now, let me give you another example since we're on that section there. The Aladdin movie. All right. Boy, this was a big one. People got really upset because there was a black girl playing Aladdin. And I was just like flabbergasted. Why do you even care? When I look at my granddaughter, Delilah, and then, like, say I showed her that movie, that version of Aladdin for the first time, Delilah's not going to care. Delilah's not going to give a shit. It's a fucking mermaid, you know? She's not going to care if what color the mermaid is. It doesn't matter. She could be purple. Did you know that Stan Lee made the Hulk green because he didn't want him to be white or black or he wanted him to be something that nobody else is, so he could be for everybody. And that's why everybody loves the Hulk so much. Again, every one of you love the Hulk, don't you? Isn't he great? I do. So there's exceptions to the rule. I will be fair about that. I think that's why they cast to type. Certain roles call for certain colored actors. All right. Now there are going to be some. There's some leeway there. There's a little bit of a gray area. Say like when you have like Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Peter Parker is ingrained, I think, in the American culture. It's hard to see Peter Parker anything other than a white person. I'm not against it, but I like that we have a Miles Morales. I think that is easier to kind of accept. And I don't want to use the word accept. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. It's easier to fall into the character, especially if it's supposed to be a certain color, I guess. Like Blade's another example. I don't want, this is me personally, okay? And I could be wrong, but I don't really want a person of any other color than black to play Blade. Because Wesley Snipes, what he did for that character, what he gave to that character was so profound that it would probably take me out of the movie if it wasn't a black actor. All right? That's just me. So, okay. Next topic, and how many of you are offended? I told you I was going to let loose. All right. These are my opinions. All right. Next one is social media. This kind of ties it. Did my voice crack? Okay. I said kind of. Okay. Next topic is social media. And I was stating earlier that there was a time when nobody ever talked about this stuff. Social media is a big factor in all of this stuff. Because a big thing about social media, it seems like, is everybody wants to pick a side. When they read something on Twitter, and especially if they see that this person's getting so many likes, he must be right because this person has, 5,000 likes. And the counter to that, nobody's liking. So I think maybe he's right. Maybe I need to side with this particular person. That's the power of social media. And I guarantee you, a lot of people that have a stake in this game, that get really passionate about this game, probably including myself, they probably weren't as passionate before social media, because social media has a lot of great things, but it has a lot of bad things. And we all want to be a part of something, It's like you go on Twitter and you see all the Evil Dead Rise posts and everybody's having a blast. They're loving this movie and it feels like a gathering, So when you have an opinion about anything, especially be it political, and that's one thing I didn't put on this list, is I think politics plays a major part in all of this woke talk. Because what I'm finding is that people that tend to lean on everything being woke, they're far right. I could be wrong on that, okay? I just threw a zinger out there, all right? Nothing against people that are far right. That's completely fine. That's their opinion. But I have never used politics in my weighing of a movie, my opinion of a movie. I leave politics out of it. I just go in there for the art form. Is it moving me? Do I love the performances? There's so much more than just, is it woke, if you really dive into a movie. But the problem is woke makes it almost a superficial thing. And it's sad because all these people spend countless hours upon hours to give us this content that you have to at least appreciate the work that goes into it, all the way down to the freaking craft services table. There's a lot at stake here. And then when you just toss it all aside because of something that might tie with your political agenda, then we're in trouble. Okay? I think then we are in trouble. So I always try to keep my political beliefs out of my art, right? And the last thing I want to talk about, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys, and maybe tell me something that, because it's not all about me, right? I want to hear you guys' opinion on this too. But last thing I want to bring out is skin in the game, and that's greenbacks, that's money. And this is where I'm going to talk about YouTube. I'm not going to say any channel names, but I want to state that people are very impressionable. And, these channels that lean on this woke agenda, which is ironic because that's their problem with some of the content that they're talking about, is they don't like agendas. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like these channels have an agenda of their own. They want to, in their words, cast out the evil Hollywood monster that is offering up, diversity, a different way of thinking. And I don't know what they want in the end. Like, do they want everybody to be white? And some of the stuff they want is fair. Like, I have watched some of these channels, and I'm going to admit, I agree with some of the points that they're making. I really do. I agree that a strong woman does need a good arc, and they do have some valid points for some of the things that they're talking about. But on the flip side of that, you get to a point where you think, let's just say Disney, for example, okay? Because it's usually Disney, Star Wars, or Marvel. Those are the three ones. If Disney, Star Wars made the greatest Star Wars movie ever, okay? And let's say it had diversity, quote unquote, in the right way. They would still make videos shitting all over it. Do you agree with that? I've come to this conclusion that because there's so much skin in the game, there's so much money to be made, that they depend on these movies to be quote unquote woke, and if they're not woke, then they can't make any money. So that's why you'll see like Rings of Power and certain channels, they'll have, let's say, a dozen videos before the show even starts. So it's kind of like this evil beast feeding into itself, because I guarantee you these people in Hollywood, they watch these channels, they read this stuff, and you get this mindset like you can't win, and maybe it gets in their own heads about the writing, because hell, She-Hulk kind of, in a way, responded to these channels, with like, I think like the finale episode. And I'll admit, I didn't really care for She-Hulk. Okay. I thought it was a bad show, but I think the mistake that She-Hulk made was that it didn't stick to its own plan. Instead, it got upset with all these channels and they fed into that, which made it even worse. I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I don't know if She-Hulk planned this thing all along. I think they even said they might have, I don't know if I believe that. But my point being is that there is so much money to be made off of this woke thing now. And so I think a lot of these channels, they depend on this. And I think a lot of them don't even believe half the shit that they report on. I really don't. Or they're not as passionate as they make themselves out to be. And here's where it gets dangerous. I'm not knocking. You know what? You're doing YouTube. It's working for you. You're doing a great job. You're feeding your family. And I'm not here to say I want those channels to be taken down. I'm not here to say that at all. Okay. But I'm just saying that you make an impression on thousands, sometimes millions of viewers. And a lot of those viewers, there's just, they linger and they count on every single word that you say, and they take it to the bank. They think that everything you say is right. And so they're not open-minded. That's the result. They end up being, this has to be woke because my favorite channel said it's woke, instead of actually thinking for themselves. I would never want my viewers to do that. I would rather have you guys to disagree with me. To have your own opinion. I love that my audience has their own opinions. I read all your comments, and I love that. So many of you disagree with me on things, and I'm like, yes, as long as it's a civil debate, I'm all for it. I love it. I don't want you to, just agree with everything I say, okay? So, in the end, is Evil Dead Rise woke? In my opinion, no, I don't think it's woke. And I didn't even find out that one of the characters, Danny, is actually played by a trans person. I don't care. Danny, that actor did a great job, I thought. I didn't, and I think here's the problem, okay? And I'll give you an example of what I think is quote unquote woke, even though I don't like using that word. I try to go a little deeper with why I don't like it instead of just saying it's woke. The Black Christmas remake. And I even stated it in my review for the Black Christmas remake. I thought, you're a slasher movie and you are going out of your way to say, I am woman, hear me roar, and you're not earning it. Black Christmas just felt way too forced, okay? And it was way too much. And you didn't need to do all that because this is horror, which has some of the greatest female characters of all time, okay? Ripley, freaking Sydney, Sarah Connor, Laurie Strode, and I could just go on and on and on. I think when you make a horror movie, you're already halfway there because of the history. You don't have to go out of your way to try to prove yourself, But this movie, Evil Dead Rise, I think they leaned on the horror, the story. It got to the point of the movie pretty quickly. And they didn't stop the movie and say, "Hey guys, we need to fight for trans rights." I don't think they ever did that. And if they did, if they want to say a line to just kind of establish who the character is, I don't have a problem with that. It's not going to ruin my day, okay? If anything, I kind of like to know a little bit about who the character is, right? Would I rather the character be this strong-minded trans character that stands up for their rights, or would I like them to just be a blank slate, a cardboard character that has no personality whatsoever? I think I'd take the first, if I'm being honest. So, in the end, I think a lot of people, they just have, I don't even know if they want every character to be, white. I don't even think they want that. But I think that word gets thrown around way too much. And every time you have a strong female in a horror movie, it gets called woke. I've seen it a million times, and it gets me way too bent out of shape. Okay, so how'd I do, guys? Did I make any sense whatsoever on that? I tried to see both sides of it. Of course, it does exist, but I'm I feel pretty passionate about these talking points that I made. And yeah, it's a debate that's never going to end, though. You know, it's got, as long as the internet's around, it ain't going nowhere, right? What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DDLive clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching. And if you want to watch more, you can go over here. You can go over here, click on one of those. And yeah, hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.